Hello students, Standard 6th. Today we are going to start the revision in physics of the chapter number 12, electricity and circuits. Now everybody is familiar with electricity. But what is an electricity? What is the meaning of it? Electricity is a type of energy which is useful for so many purposes in our houses, in the factories, schools, colleges, banks, hospitals, and so many other places. Now the question is arising that from where do this electricity come? But before that, let us talk some other thing, like when you make the list of use of electricity, then maybe you write down some electrical gadgets that you use in your houses, like electric iron, oven, mixer grinder, washing machine, refrigerator, bulb, tube lights, etc. It means that you use the electricity to get light also. Generally in the daytime we have sun in the sky which gives us light. So we need not use electricity. Yeah, maybe in interior part of your house, maybe there is dark. You need the lights to switch on. But generally we don't have to. But at night time we use the electricity so that we get light by using the tube lights or the bulbs or LED, etc. So now, as I told you, the question arises that from where do the electricity come? Now some will say that electricity come from wires. Yes, it is coming from wires, but how is it coming in wire? From where is it supplied in the wire, so that from the wire it coming towards our houses and we use that electricity? I hope everybody is familiar with that place where the electricity is produced. So we get electricity which is produced in power stations. In power stations, they produce the electricity and then it is supplied through the big wires. And we saw that the the wire are on the pole, and from the pole it is coming towards your house in your meter, and from the meter is entering our houses. So the electricity is produced at the power stations. Power stations are also of different types, like thermal power station, hydro power station, nuclear power station, etc. In thermal power station, the heat is used. From heat energy, the water is boiled and the steam produced is used to rotate the turbine, and the generator connected to turbine start and produce the electricity. In hydro power station, the running water is used either as a form of the fall, or maybe the water dropped from the dams. So when the water falls on the turbine rotates, which is connected with an axle to the generator to produce the electricity. In nuclear power station, the nuclear reactors they are called, in which the electricity is produced by the nuclear fission, when the nucleus of some heavy metals like uranium is broken, and then the energy is produced which is used in it. So now that is the thing I told you, that is the power. Electricity is produced at power stations or the reactors. Now sometimes it is not possible to get this electricity everywhere. In this situation, from where do we get electricity? In some of the devices, we don't use the current that is coming from the powerhouse. We are having so many devices we use that do not use that power, electricity coming from that poles, from the the power stations. What do you use in a torch to light the bulb of the torch? What do you use in your remote control so that you can operate the television from the far? What do you use in your mobiles that gives power to run the mobile? Obviously the answer is an electric cell, or the dry cell that we call. So electric cell is a device which converts the chemical inside. The chemical inside is using, and it converts into electrical energy when it is joined in the circuit. So electric cell is a device which converts the chemical energy into electrical energy. I hope everybody is familiar with that dry cell, or the simply an electric cell. An electric cell has two terminals. Any type of electric cell has two terminals. The name of the terminals are positive terminal, which is denoted by plus sign, and the other one is the negative terminal, that is minus sign. If you observe the cell particularly, then you will see the plus sign and the minus sign. The plus sign will be on the metallic cap on the top of the electric cell. On the top of the electric cell, there will be a metallic cap, and that cap is acting like a positive terminal for the cell. And the metal disc at the bottom, bottom is acting like a negative terminal. So all type of electric cells must have two terminals. Actually all the electrical components also have two terminals. The one is the positive terminal and the other is negative terminal. So now when the electrical cell is joined in the circuit, either in the torch or in the wristwatch, transistor radios, alarm clocks, cameras, then your remote controls, etc. Then what happens if you remember that there is chemical stored inside, and then when the chemical is used, it converts the chemical energy stored into the electrical energy. So what happens is slowly the chemical is getting used up. Chemical is getting used up, and when the chemical, all the chemical is used up, then the electric cell will stop working. You know that sometimes our remote control doesn't want to work. Our wristwatch also stopped. The alarm clocks, even our mobile's battery is also used up. It doesn't work. In our mobile there is rechargeable battery, so when we recharge, it starts again. But that cell, dry cell especially, that we use in the torch or in the remote control, they are not all of them are rechargeable, and therefore when the chemicals inside them is used up, then it stops working. Then if you put that used cell in the torch, then the bulb will not glow. So the electrical cell stops producing electricity when the chemical inside is used up already. And then what we have to do, we have to take off that used cell which is not working and replace new cells. Then again it will start producing electricity. So now the bulb, I hope everybody is familiar with the bulb, especially the torch bulb or any type of bulb. They have the same type of construction. So what is the bulb? The bulb is an electrical device which use the electricity and produce the light. So we use them to produce the light, means electrical energy is converted into light energy. So now in the electric cell also there are two terminals, and there is a very, if you see the torch, take out the bulb, and bulb is fixed with the wire inside. In the middle of the bulb, if you see properly, then you will see a thin wire, very thin wire, which is joined in the middle of the glass bulb. And when you switch on the torch, then that thin wire produces light, and we get the light from it, means it start glowing. So that thin wire inside that bulb is known as filament. It is known as filament. So the structure of bulb is having a filament, and the two ends of the filaments are joined with two thick wires which provide the support it also. So now the one of the thick wire is connected to the metal case at the base, and the other is connected to metal tip at the center of the base. So here also you can see that there are two terminals of the bulb also, and they are fixed in such a way that they do not touch each other. So filament is joined with the two thick wires. One is attached to the metallic cap around it, and the other one at the metallic bottom there is a metallic tip. So that is connected. So these are the two terminals of the bulb as shown in this figure. You can see that A and B are the two terminals here. In the between there is a filament. You can see it. So that is the construction of the electric bulb. And that filament, what is the filament? As I told you, filament is the thin wire in the bulb which gives off light in the bulb. The filament is made from a very special type of metal, because the filament must be such that it can have the capacity of high voltage power. Second thing, that its melting point must be high, so that it cannot get melted in the high temperature, and it is not getting oxidized, it doesn't react with oxygen at a high temperature also. Otherwise, what will happen? If the filament is made from the low melting metal, then because of the high temperature, the filament will break, the metal will melt and the filament will break. We will call it fused bulb. So the filament is made from the tungsten wire which have capacity of high temperature. At a high temperature also it doesn't melt. It is not getting oxidized, and it can bear the high electric power also. So that are the filaments and its properties of the filament. So the filaments are very, very important here, and the two terminals are fixed in such a way in the bulb that they do not touch each other. They must be separate. And the electric bulbs used at home also have the similar design. That we use the bulbs in our houses also have the same, but in the bigger size. It also will have a filament with the two terminals, etc. Now, the another question here is that why should not we join the two terminals of a cell without any device? It means that without any like bulb or switch, nothing, and we join the two terminals of the cell directly. Then what will happen? We mustn't do that, because if you do like that, when you join the two ends, two terminals directly, means one wire at the top, one wire at the bottom without any bulb or switch or anything, then what will happen? The chemical will be used up very fast. It means your electric cell will work very less time. The chemical will be used faster and the cell will be not working, and therefore it is finished very soon. Therefore we mustn't do that. That we mustn't connect the two terminals directly without using any switch or bulb. Otherwise the cell will stop working very, very soon. So here we discuss all the questions in the assignment. Here you have to draw the figure also of the cell, figure of the electric bulb also showing the structure. So there will be this question in the PDF as an assignment. You will write down, and any confusion write down in the comment section. Thank you very much.